Greetings, fellow Watford fans. Omar here, and it's time for the Orns 10-minute take on Burnley 1, Watford 1. That's right, that was the final score at Turf Moor, and a scoreline that Watford fans will be absolutely irate with. Because Watford were in control of this game. Defensively, they played as well as they could. Their game plan was executed to a T. They did everything that a road team has to do against the champions elect, because they're going to be champions, Burnley, in just a few more months from now. And a team that had gone 11 consecutive games with a victory looked like they were going to have that snapped. I believe it was 11 consecutive, or maybe not. But the bottom line is that Burnley have not lost a game for months, and they were literally 20 seconds away from doing so. And the team that was by far the class of the championship this season was a team that, with Watford playing them, looked rather ordinary. A lack of ideas, moving the ball too slow, a Watford defense that grew in confidence by the minute, a Watford defense anchored so ably by Ryan Porteous and by Wesley Hood, a Watford defense that defended well for 95.5 minutes, except for those final few seconds at that 6th minute of injury time. Watford were, in every department after they scored their goal, better than Burnley. They repelled every Burnley attack. They stood fast and steadfast, and they were able to have a couple of chances of their own. The defending was dogged for the most part, but what was not were the fundamentals. The fundamentals let Watford down in this game, and it wasn't just the defending in the final corner that Burnley had. That was not the only thing about this game that let Watford down. It was the things that preceded it in those minutes of injury time that really did spell the reason why Watford only got 1 point instead of the 3 that they should have had. Watford's defending in that set piece was atrocious, but it really was not that. The major problem was what Watford did with the ball ahead of that time. The fundamentals lacked. Martins, who was brought on as a sub, did not do what everyone in football knows you have to do with a 1-0 lead. And that's bring the ball to the corner flag and keep it there as long as is humanly possible. That is what Martins didn't do. And in fact, there was 3 instances where Martins would have and should have done it, but he didn't. He went to the corner flag once and then brought the ball out and brought it back toward the Watford end of the pitch. He flopped, took a dive, hoping that the referee would call a foul in that situation. And the referee, who was excellent tonight, by the way, and he should be given credit, Lee, whatever his last name was, brilliant refereeing tonight. For the most part, he was excellent. That's the best referee Watford are going to probably see this whole season. And he thought, Martins did, that somehow the referee is going to give him a whistle. The referee's never blowing a whistle there, ever blowing a whistle there in the final minute of a game, in the final couple of minutes of injury time. The referee knows that the home side is looking to get that equalizer. The referee's never blowing a whistle against a team that's top of the championship in their building. That's never going to happen. Martins there just did not have the fundamentals. And he brought the ball away from the corner flag on a couple of occasions, found himself running with the ball into the Burnley box. Why? I do not know. We were not trailing in the game at that point. Watford were leading 1-0. There's no need to try to make it 2-0 in that position. All you have to do is bring the ball to the corner flag and keep it there. But Martins didn't do that. For reasons known only to him, he decided to dribble the ball back toward the Watford end, or dribble the ball, try to be flashy, and dribble the ball into the Burnley box. Sometimes in football, simplicity is the best way forward. Keep it simple. And on Valentine's Day, KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Watford just did not get the fundamentals right. And that's really where Watford lost these 2 points tonight. Yes, there should have been a defender or two more at the back post. Yes, there should have been a defender covering the advancing player at the back post. Obafemi getting that goal in the very dying seconds of the game. It was sickening to see that ball go in the back of the net. Absolutely sickening. And Burnley players stabbing at the ball, stabbing at the ball. It was sickening to see that go in. And yet Burnley gave Watford warning signs before that. Daniel Batman had to make a great save with his foot off the line, clearing the ball off the line. There was another situation shortly after that where Burnley hit the ball and it was cleared off the line. There was a ball that should have gone in for Burnley in the first 40 seconds of the game. Daniel Batman made an excellent save to prevent it from going in. He hit the ball with his hand. He put the ball onto the crossbar. I mean, Daniel Batman was outstanding tonight. Burnley did have their moments, but Burnley were rather poor in this game. And the idea that Burnley are champions right now, or going to be, playing the way they did tonight is an absolute fallacy. Burnley were poor tonight. Watford made them that way. And Burnley fans really should be concerned about that performance. Because if Burnley had lost this game tonight, with Burnley running away with everything, they're going to win the championship. There's no question they're going to win it. That might have given a few Burnley fans something to think about tonight. But Burnley were not good. They flopped all over the place. Now, let's be absolutely honest, Burnley, with you. Burnley fans, be honest with your team here. They flopped about like fishes out of water tonight, like fish out of water. That was embarrassing. Every other moment they flopped. They tripped over and they acted. They play acted. The Academy Awards isn't until next month. And the BAFTAs are this weekend. And Burnley would have had many nominations based upon what we saw tonight. That was a joke. I'm going to sit there and watch Burnley flopping and diving all over the place like fish out of water. That was embarrassing. It's embarrassing from Burnley. And the manager wasn't happy either. And what were they doing tonight? Burnley were awful tonight. Let's be honest. Their goalkeeper was a mess that led up to the goal for João Pedro. That was a disgrace. I mean, what was he doing? Flapping about with the ball, flapping about. And then João Pedro got the goal. Well-deserved. Good finish. And that was out of nothing, by the way. Watford did not do a thing the first half hour of that game until that ball from Keenan Davis. And that was the only thing Keenan Davis did tonight, was do that one thing. The most important thing, get the ball over to Ken Sema. Ken Sema drove the ball across goal and into the back of the net. It went good timed run from João Pedro to get the 9th goal of the season in his account for Watford. 1-0 Watford. Wasn't an easy finish, but he made it happen. And we talked about how finishing was going to be so important in this game, and it was, because Watford finished and they scored first. And I said in the Orns Monday Focus how important getting that first goal was going to be in this game. And I felt that, and I did say it, that Watford were going to get a point out of this game. But the way that they would have to get that point is by scoring first. And they were good value for that lead, because then what they did is build an anchor in this game to bring themselves forward and propel themselves. And they got right into the game and they began to frustrate Burnley. And that continued in the second half as well. I thought the substitutions for Watford was smart, although I really wish João Pedro stayed on the pitch. But I think the thinking behind Slaven Bilic taking him off was so he couldn't get a second yellow. And I think that was a big substitution there, because I thought the leadership of the team changed dramatically after that. Although they brought Loser on, I thought Loser was very effective for a few minutes. I can tell you that he was on the pitch for about 20 seconds, and immediately, Watford had an opportunity to score, which they should have finished. Ismaila Sarr had a no-show tonight. I don't know where he was. He just did not get the job done for me, as far as I'm concerned, from a Watford perspective. I thought that generally everyone else was very good. Team-wide defending was excellent. I thought Wesley Hurt and Ryan Porteous, again, outstanding as the central pair defensively. I thought they were excellent in this game. I thought Chowdhury was excellent as well. I thought Mario Gaspar was excellent, had a very good game, even though he was getting a lot of heat down that left side from their left winger there for Burnley. But the fact of the matter is that he dealt with lots of that and did his job well. Gaspar did his job well in the 95th minute when he kicked the ball into touch for the corner. Look, he's got to do that. I'm not going to blame anyone here in terms of making sure that that was a set piece and nothing worse. But one person I do lay some blame on here in a great many ways is Martins. That is a fundamental play in football. I don't care if you're in varsity. I don't care if you're in middle school. I don't care if you're in nursery school. I don't care where you are. You have got to take that ball into the corner, leave it in the corner flag, keep it there as long as you humanly can. But it just didn't work. It just didn't work because Martins did not do that. And I think it's what led up, and I've said this before, what led up to that goal being scored is the things that Watford didn't do correctly in that spot. You have got to have football nous in that position. You have got to have football smarts, and you have to run that ball into the corner. Simple as. Didn't happen. And that, to me, is where Watford lost these 2 points tonight. And Watford now will head back down to Hertfordshire feeling like they've been kicked in the stomach and kicked between the legs at the same time, because that's how it felt when that ball went in for Burnley. A point that Burnley hardly deserved. And that shows you how good Watford were for much of this game. Watford disrupted Burnley's rhythm. Watford stopped Burnley from moving the ball as quickly as they would like it to be moved. Burnley huffed and puffed. They threw subs on left, right, and center, but none of them were really effective. And then the sub at the very end from no post, no back post defending. And that's why Burnley have got a point tonight, really. Watford gave this one away in the end. Watford really should have come back down to Hertfordshire with 3 points instead. They're coming back with only 1. And that's really the unkindest cut of all. The fundamentals of football are sometimes the most important things. And of course, all the time, they're the most important thing. But especially in the 96th minute of a match, you have to see that match out. But when you don't take care of the football, when you have the football and you don't run it to the corner flag and leave it there and keep it there, you're inviting this kind of situation. Burnley are not the top team in the league for nothing. And they are known for coming back in games, especially at home when they've been trailing. They're known to come back from deficits. They did it against West Brom a few weeks ago when West Brom were up 1-0 for a long period. In the 75th minute, Burnley equalized, and then they won the game. They won the game 3-1, I think it was. So, Burnley are a team you can't mess about with like that. But there's no way that the referee, who again I'll say it again, he was excellent tonight. There's no way the referee's going to give you a foul in that position. Martin's flopping over in the middle of the pitch, hoping for a foul. You're not getting a foul there. The referee's going to allow Burnley to keep doing what they're doing, which is attack the Watford goal. He knows that Burnley are looking for an equalizer. The referee's never going to give a foul in that position there. He's never going to give it unless it's egregious. You cannot flop in that position. This is the top team in the championship. The referee, he's standing on the pitch at Turf Moor. He's never given that foul to you, Martins. And I know it's going to be seen as me being harsh on a 19-year-old footballer, but that's fundamentals. He has got to know that in that position. You've got to take that corner. You've got to make sure that that ball is in the corner flag where you're supposed to be. But again, it's an agonizing, really, it's a defeat, basically. It's an agonizing 2 points dropped here. Otherwise, Watford were very good in this game after that half-hour mark. After that goal, they were brilliant. I thought they were very good. They defended well. The game plan was right. I thought that everybody worked the lines very well for Watford. I felt that they soaked up the pressure well. They were good on the counter. The goalkeeper tonight was excellent, Daniel Bachmann. But how Watford did not hold on to this game is beyond me. But, again, as I said a gazillion times here, when you don't run the ball to the corner flag and keep it there, you are hurting your chances. There's no need to go for a second goal. But inexperience, that substitution of Martin's coming into the game hurt you in that position. You need to bring on a veteran who can do that better. And I know Cabaselli was on the pitch. I don't even remember what Cabaselli did on the pitch tonight when he was brought on. But you've got to bring on veteran players in that moment, not the more inexperienced players. But I don't care whether you're a veteran or not. You know there's one job you've got to do to close these games out in game management, and that is to run the ball to the corner flag and keep it there. That's what you're supposed to do. And Watford didn't do it. This has been the Orns 10-minute take.